Hey, what's going on everyone? Appreciate y'all coming here and checking out this Diablo 4 video. In this one I'm going to be showing y'all a great boss killing build that you can use with the Sorcerer. Hope you all find this video enjoyable, and if you do, consider taking a little bit of your time and leaving a like on it. The support is greatly appreciated. As always, that's totally up to you. Just a reminder here in the beginning. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. First things first, I'm going to be going over the skills that I recommend using to make this build, and then I'll get into the gameplay of it in action. It's definitely a great build to use in my opinion. This is the build that I used to take out Lilith at level 39, which isn't a super high level to be going up against her. And I was able to take her out by using this build I'm about to be showing y'all. Anyways, first things first within the skills. For the basic skills, I recommend investing 1 into Frostbolt and 1 into Enhanced Frostbolt. From here down to the core skills, I recommend maxing out Frozen Orb and investing into Enhanced Frozen Orb as well as Greater Frozen Orb. From here down to the defensive skills, I recommend investing into Teleport, of course, because it's just amazing to have with the Sorcerer. And I also recommend maxing out Glass Cannon to make it so you deal even more damage. And also I recommend investing into Ice Armor as well as Enhanced Ice Armor and Mystical Ice Armor. Ice Armor can definitely save your butt in battle. Anyways, carrying on from the defensive skills, down at the conjuration skills, I recommend maxing out Hydra, investing into Enhanced Hydra, and Invoked Hydra. So yeah, that's it for this area. Moving down to the mastery skills, I recommend maxing out Blizzard and investing into Enhanced Blizzard, as well as Mage's Blizzard. I also recommend investing into Icy Veil and Snap Freeze. Moving on to the ultimate skills, I recommend investing into Permafrost. Max this out if you're able to. Also max out Icy Touch and Hoarfrost. This will just make it so you'll deal even more damage over time by investing into these. Anyways, carrying on down to the key passive skills, I recommend investing into Avalanche. This is an amazing skill to have. As you see, Avalanche makes it so your lucky hit will make it so your frost skills have up to a 10% chance to make your next cast of Ice Shards, Frozen Orb, or Blizzard to consume no mana and deal 40% increased damage. Chance is doubled against vulnerable enemies, which we also invested into some other skills that help against vulnerable enemies too. Which, speaking of lucky hits, with this build eventually I'm going to max out Precision Magic, which is located right here within the conjuration skills. This makes it so you'll have more of a chance to hit a lucky hit, which will make it so you'll deal even more damage over time. And also, I will eventually max out Elemental Dominance too. This makes it so your core skills will deal even more damage when you cast it above 50 mana. So yeah, that'll make it so our Frozen Orbs will deal even more damage over time. But yeah, those are some other skills I'm going to eventually invest in with this build. At the moment, these are all the skills I'm able to invest in. I'm level 41 with this Sorcerer currently, but I figured this was a good enough time to showcase this build. Over time, of course, the higher level you'll get, the more powerful this build will become. As you can see, here's an example of this build in action against one of the world bosses. How this build works is by casting your Blizzard and Hydra at a distance, so you're able to continue to deal out damage against the boss. And also cast your Ice Armor too, because this will help you regenerate mana faster, so you'll be able to continue to spam out Frozen Orbs at a distance too against the boss or adds that you're going up against. This build works great against boss fights just because you're able to continue to keep your distance and deal damage to the boss without having to worry about aiming or getting up close and personal at all to the boss. You're able to just continue to move around and evade the boss's attacks while still continuing to deal damage to it, which is just great because the Blizzard will continue to deal out damage over time, and the Hydra will also continue to deal out damage over time. The only thing you'll have to aim with is the Frozen Orbs, but once again, you're able to keep your distance still with these, and they work best at a distance too. You want to make sure you're trying to shoot your Frozen Orb at a distance where it will explode on the target. So get enough distance from the target or targets you're targeting so it'll explode on them. That's how the Frozen Orb works best. You want to try to get it to be exploding on the enemies or just an enemy. This is a great boss killing build. You're able to easily live with this. You just got to keep evading the enemy's attacks. As you can see here, it can also be good up against multiple enemies too. here's a bunch of enemies right here grouped up together. And once again, I am at a distance targeting them and making them vulnerable too with the attacks I use. Also, chilled and frozen sometimes as well. And if the enemies become vulnerable, chilled, or frozen, if you go and target them again with your attacks, you'll deal even more damage to the enemies that you're targeting. Thanks to the skills like Icy Touch, you deal more damage to vulnerable enemies with this one, and Hoarfrost, you deal more damage against chilled and frozen enemies with this one, and also Snap Freeze as well helps work with like Hoarfrost. Snap Freeze makes it so you have more of a chance to actually freeze enemies, and Hoarfrost makes it so you deal a lot of damage to frozen enemies. And also investing into Permafrost too will make it so you'll deal damage to elites like bosses. And as for my gear, at the moment it's kind of all over the place. I am level 41. I'm not currently maxed out, and I haven't been really farming for legendaries, but I have found a few decent gear pieces that have helped with this build, such as this one right here. While within your own blizzard, you take 14% less damage, and I do cast it on enemies that sometimes get close to me, so this is kind of convenient to have so I can be a little bit more tankier within my blizzard. Also, this right here, this staff makes it so my frozen orb stays in place after reaching its destination and explodes 2 additional times for 56% of its damage. This is a really good staff that I found for this build. This definitely helps out the frozen orb attack. And I'm also using this amulet that you get from the story, Vigo's Protecting Amulet. This has saved my butt quite a few times, so I definitely like rocking this one, especially up against boss fights. This spawns a protective barrier around you periodically. And I'm also rocking these gauntlets too. Skills deal up to 15% increased damage based on your available primary resource when cast, receiving the maximum benefit while you have full primary resource. And lastly, I have this helmet too that gives me 2 ranks to Hydra, making my Hydras stronger. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have much going on for my gear. Just be on the lookout for things that help with your Blizzard, Frozen Orb, and Hydra if you want to really get this build to its fullest potential. So yeah, overall this build was able to help me out against bosses I was stuck on. I literally had to switch up my builds a couple times to defeat some bosses, and this is one of them that worked best for me. Hopefully this build is able to help you out as much as it was able to help me out. I recommend giving this build a try. After all, it isn't going to hurt to just experiment around with it. You may end up liking this one like I did. But yeah, I'm out of here, everyone. As always, thanks for taking the time, watching, and listening. Hope you all found this video enjoyable. Until next time, peace